So Jazzy, I gotta ask, would you happen to be related to Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus by any chance?
I wish, but no, no. The name actually came from one, I used to work in a one of my earlier jobs was working in a daycare center, and
Hmm.
I also used to work at a children's hospital. And
Ah.
having to go into the children's hospital, I would wear these like Miss Frizzle type dresses
Oh.
with like the planets and some with dinosaurs and things like that. And so the name just kind of stuck with me. So I was coined the name Miss Frizzle and just kind of
Hell yeah.
stuck with it.
So technically you are related to Miss Frizzle from the
in
Magic School
in
Bus, so in
a
a
off
way.
way. Yeah, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with
Hell
that.
yeah. Hell yeah. Myth is busted because I was trying to figure that out for like such a long time. But yeah, welcome to another episode of OverVoice Season 3. Today I'm joined by the lovely Jazzy Frizzle. Jazzy, would you like to introduce yourself?
I don't know. I don't ever know what to say when I introduce myself. But yes, I'm Jazzy Frizzle. I'm a voice actor, advocate, founders of Voices of Color, and I'm just living life.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad you're living life. It's amazing. But yeah, my first question to you, Jazzy, is well yeah, how'd you get into voice acting and what's your journey been like so far?
Whew. So I'm your typical like theater choir kid. I did the whole nine musical stage plays. Loved acting, loved not being famous.
Yeah.
And so naturally, right? Like I enjoy grocery shopping in peace. I enjoy going out in the world without having to worry about people stopping me. And so on camera or like on screen acting was not in the calling cards for me, I think. And so naturally, voice acting just seemed the correct way to go. But it's been an amazing journey so far. I'm all over the place, genre wise, and I just enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's a beautiful, beautiful industry.
Hell yeah. Did you end up growing up with any cartoons or video games that kind of like inspired you to like take the plunge or anything?
Um, I I won't say that I grew up with the goal of like I want to be a voice actor.
Yeah.
Voice acting, interestingly enough, was one of those jobs that I didn't realize was a job until one day I was sitting there like, somebody got paid to do this.
Ah, yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing. Hold on a second. It's kind of like those things that you never, really think about, like, there's somebody that makes chapstick, right? Like that's a
Yeah.
job,
True,
the
yeah.
weird jobs you never think about. And so I was like, oh yeah, no, that's what we need to do. That's what I need to do. Is voice
Yeah.
acting. It just seems so perfect.
Hell yeah. I also wanted to ask, because I know you also are like, I might be wrong, but you're like one of the founders of VOC Takeover.
Yep, yep, yep.
So first off, thank you so much for your service. Oh my God, I appreciate it as a POC. Oh my God.
Thank
Um,
you.
but second, I'm like, just wanted to ask, how did it like come about actually?
So when I entered the voice acting industry, um, for me, it was there wasn't really like a community of voice actors of color. And so one of my friends and colleagues, Jaden Harp, we kind of just came together and it started off as like a little Twitter group chat. And we kind of grew. We ended up making a Discord just for like community and tips and let's converse and what's happening in the industry. And now we're a whole organization and
Yeah,
trying to slowly but surely diversify the industry and make it more equitable and inclusive for diverse talent. And
yeah,
it's a very slow fight, but it's a fight nonetheless. Slow progress is better than no progress, so we're getting
yeah.
there.
Like, when did you start making a VOC? Like what year was it? Was it like in the 2020s or was it
Oh
before then?
gosh, I want to say it was either 2020 or 2021
Okay,
was,
yeah.
yeah, when we things just started getting together and then we just expanded from there. So
Hell yeah.
it's my
And
baby.
hell yeah. And also as like a as a what's the right word I'm looking for? As a the word is escaping my mind. It's but like it's like someone who advocates for authentic casting and stuff nowadays. Like how do you feel how the industry has like changed from like, back then to now?
It's it's interesting, right? Because the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the one constant thing in life is change. So compared to, gosh, even just 4 or 5 years ago when we were in the
Mm.
middle of a pandemic, um, we've gotten better,
Yeah.
but it's still not where we should be.
Yeah.
The going into this industry, the biggest thing was the basics of casting authentically, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen it, and that's a media problem, whether it be on camera or voice acting or whatever it is. We've seen roles that are whitewashed. We've seen, incorrect casting where it's not authentic in a sense, so we've seen it,
Mm.
and that has always been an obstacle. But authentic casting has become the first step in a truly inclusive industry. Um, because as a Black woman, if I couldn't even get a shot at the Black woman roles, like, how am I going to have a career in this, right?
Yeah.
So having the authentic casting was a great first step. But now in the industry, what we're finding is that actors with diverse backgrounds are now being pigeonholed only for authenticity.
Yeah.
So now the ultimate goal, right, is true inclusion, true diversity. And ultimately, yes, it would be beautiful to be in an industry where anybody can play everyone. But unfortunately, with the history of the industry, we're
Yeah.
not anywhere close to that.
At least not right
So
now, hopefully. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's hard. As soon as I feel like we solve one problem, that solution leads us into a new problem, and now we have
Oh yeah.
another obstacle to overcome. So
Oh yeah. Because sometimes whenever like I see stuff about like golden casting and I see a lot of people complaining about it, the odd few, thankfully not a huge amount, but it's usually like the criticism is like, oh, it doesn't matter, it should matter on the voice, not the where talent comes from. But
mm-hmm.
like I
It
don't
shouldn't
know.
matter what you
It's
look
weird.
like, and it's
Yeah.
okay. I get to you, but like, again, one of those things where that moment when I realized that voice acting was a job, but then only being able to name one or two actors that
Mm.
look like me in the end, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, it's a job. Is it a job I can do? Oh, it is. It's just very few of us in the industry,
Oh yeah.
and that's discouraging.
Yeah, it's really weird in the sense that you don't really know if you have like a place in the industry. Like, as someone who didn't know that for a long time, like it's really hard to say because like the majority of people that are cast, don't look like us most of the time. So it's like, okay, do we even have a shot? But
Mm,
thankfully it's kind of changing where everyone can, which is really great. But I don't think it was. If you look at like the media and stuff from like the early 2000s and all that, there wasn't a huge amount. Of course, there was always like the token stuff back in the day. Thankfully,
yep.
it's not a thing now. I hope, but yeah, I'm glad it's like shifting towards like the more a more open and diverse selection of
Yes.
people.
Yes, again, the ultimate goal is true inclusion. We don't want to be thought of as being forced,
Mm, yeah,
diversity being forced. Like, oh, you know what? We have a really white looking cast. We should probably pop a couple of people of color in there. And it's kind of like, well, we don't want you to just feel
yeah,
like you have to. It should just be the ultimate, like, you ultimately you just want to think of, does your cast reflect
mm,
what the scenery is like? Hey, if you're just in the middle of New York, that's such a diverse place. If that's where the story is taking place, does your cast and characters reflect what it looks like there?
yeah,
So it's it's hard. We don't want to be an afterthought, right? We just
Yeah.
want it to be just natural to be like, oh, the best actor for this role is a person of color.
Yeah.
But the biggest obstacles we face is even getting to see those opportunities
Mm,
and in the first place. And so a lot, we as VOC, we have the Voices of Global Majority database,
yeah.
where you can find ethnic actors for authentic casting. But when people request to access the database, we really also push and remind these clients that, hey, for anything you're sending to our talent, please also send the open
Mm,
characters as well. The things that don't require a specific ethnicity, please
yeah.
send those as well. Because maybe this, I can count in my personal experience the amount of Black women roles that I have booked in my lifetime that were looking for a Black woman. And that's because, unfortunately, there is a lot of inherent bias in this industry, and they expect races and ethnicities to sound a certain way, judgmental, history of, institutionalized racism and all
Mm,
that fun stuff. I don't sound like the typical quote unquote Black woman or the expected way a Black woman should sound. So I don't ever book those roles. I book all of the open ones where it doesn't really
yeah.
matter, right?
Exactly.
So it's a never ending battle, but I hope one day we'll get there.
Yeah. My biggest pet peeve is when people cast different people of different representations as like a tick box, and rather than it just being open to like the general public,
Yeah,
I don't know. I understand why the cast list might be closed, which off to the general public in some instances, but I don't know. It shouldn't be reserved for like only like the white talent only, if that makes sense.
agreed. And it just comes down to, again, the history of one, our nation, and how media has made this standard, European beauty standards, and
Mm,
everything like that. I mean, even just looking at our film history in the States, right? White people playing characters of color,
mm,
the makeup, the black face, the Asian face, like the whole thing, right? We have a very dark history when it comes to representation in the industry. And again, it's still not where it should be, but it has gotten better.
yeah, exactly.
It just, I would love for it to get better faster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. But yeah, just to make it a bit more in the positive in the chat here. I also wanted to ask about because I know you were directing Corrupt, which is like a
Yes.
fighting game, which was non-union, but you flipped it to Union.
Yes.
So
Woo, woo,
yeah,
woo.
like let's go. Like what was like the the process like of flipping something from non-union to union? Because for me personally, that just sounds really intimidating. So
It
yeah,
it can, and I think just in general, when it comes to flipping anything union, it can sound more intimidating than what it actually is. It really just comes down to, hey, we just need you to fill out some paperwork and we're going to go from there, right?
yeah,
But it just comes down to having the conversation with the client of, hey, we're protecting our actors, we are contributing to, their pension and health, because that is important as a freelancer. Insurance is a godsend if we, being able to have that as a freelance talent, right? So it was just a matter of, and like also being the bridge between the union and the client, and assisting and letting the client know, you're not in this alone. We're not just going to be like, hey, you should flip union, have at it, good luck, right? It was there, we assisted the client, been like, hey, just go ahead, do this paperwork. Pretty much we were acting as producers as well, or assistant producers.
yeah,
And I think that's important. It shows that the client cares about their talent, in the long run and overall, and they want to do the right thing by their talent, which is beautiful. Who doesn't love a client like that?
oh yeah,
And then just helping them do that. It's the same reason, that having to Taft Hartley a talent just seems like it's so hard, because it's like this misconception that you have to do so much just to Taft Hartley a class.
yeah,
You don't. It's not, and it's not a lot at all. Like we TH'd like maybe like 5 talents for this project, which was
Ooh, nice.
it was beautiful. So now we had created SAG eligible talent that can join the union if they want to. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Hell yeah.
Um, so I think it just comes down to having the conversation with the client, having your client care and understand and protecting the talent, and knowing that just as much as you want to work with us, we want to work with you.
Yeah. Is there like a huge change from like making something that's non-union to union in a sense,
Oh,
like apart from like the paperwork, of course, um is and all that, like is there like the main differences like between like what the client would normally work with than what the client would work with now that it's union, if that makes sense?
so there wasn't much of a big difference. I would say the biggest difference is the audition pool is
Mm,
different,
yeah,
because once we flipped union, union actors could also audition,
yeah,
right? Versus when it was just non-union, and it would, you know, non-union or FICOR actors could audition, right?
yeah,
So you do open up and expand the talent pool by allowing flipping your project union. There's also a big misconception out there that if you flip something union, you're only going to hire union actors, right?
yeah,
That is false, right? It's the whole reason why we hold auditions, right? You want to
yeah,
find the best talent. And if that talent happens to be union or non union, that's okay. Because if they're non union, all it takes is a sheet of paper. Go ahead and send it to the union. They're Taft Hartley, right?
yeah.
So it's not, I just, I want it to be put out there more
Mm,
to kind of dispel that misunderstanding of this is really hard to do. It's not,
yeah,
I promise. And you have people that want to help you, and I think that's also important to know. Is that we're
yeah.
not just going to send you on your way to do it solo.
Oh
We're
yeah,
here to help you
hell
because
yeah.
it ultimately helps us as well.
Absolutely. And in terms of like being Taft Hartley, because I always hear it's a lot of paperwork. Like how much in reality, how much paperwork is it actually?
It's not. It's one sheet of paper.
Is it really one sheet of
It's
paper?
one sheet of paper. It's one sheet of paper, and then you have, as a talent, just have to send in a headshot and your resume.
Oh
And then we
wow, okay.
and we take all of that and send it to the union so that you can be Taft Hartley.
Oh wow, that's I
That's it. That's all it is. So it's a big misconception, and I think it's just about communicating that, like, hey, I know I'm non-union, but to Taft Hartley's not that difficult. I can assist you if need be. I already
yeah,
have the materials here available. We're trying I'm throwing around ideas with a couple of other talent of, like, I wonder if there's a system we can put in place where it's like you have a Taft talent can access the Taft Hartley form
yeah,
and just be like, "Hey, I already got all this filled out for you. You just go ahead and sign, and it'll be on its way, right?" And that's it. That's
yeah,
all you got to do. So I think it's just about dispelling that myth.
yeah. That's fair. But like when you, because I imagine you've had like experience slipping stuff union before, but
Mhm.
for the first time you did it, and approaching like the big SAG union, like what was that experience like for the first time?
It's it depends on who your client was. For me myself, it wasn't that difficult because the one of the biggest difference between being union and non-union is financial, right? It's a
Yeah,
financial thing, because if you go union, you have minimums that you have to meet, and there are rates that you have to follow. As when you're non-union, you don't necessarily have to follow those to the
that's
letter,
fair.
right?
Yeah,
So it's just about kind of alleviating the concerns of, well, if we go union, it's going to cost so much money for us to do this and to pay you. And it'll be like, no, 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 we have different like things and different like usages and things like that. So thankfully for myself, it was not that difficult because what they were paying non-union was just very much within the same range of as if they
oh
were to
okay,
go union. So it was very easy. Um, for one, there's an indie game right now that I'm working on flipping,
Mm,
And one of the biggest concerns is budget, because with the new tiered agreement with SAG, they have like different tiers. Like,
mm.
and the lowest I think starts at 250K as a budget, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And that is a very big number,
Oh
and
yeah.
not all indie games have that budget. And so that is the biggest concern right now, is us going through those financials of like, hey, we are nowhere near close to that tier. SAG is willing to work with you because they
Okay.
want you to have they want to have those projects, and they want their actors to work. And
Yeah.
so there are ways to work around that. And again, it's just about alleviating those concerns and being with the client as much as you can along the way to make it easier. So long story short, I think it just comes down to the client and
Oh yeah.
what they can work with.
Oh yeah. And for like, does the client have to be like in America, or can it be like anywhere?
America, just because it's a like if it's an American company, there are overseas companies that actually are union, which
Oh
is
yeah.
pretty cool. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the talent itself.
Okay.
If they become a signatory, doesn't matter where they are. It's just been a heavily practiced thing here in the US. So,
Yeah. Because we're in an interesting place right now. Because like, strikes going on right now. But
mhm,
at the time of this recording, the strike's still going on. So yeah. Uh, yeah. But I feel like hopefully we can get those protections in place, because I think that's the main thing we're going for here, instead of like striking for money or anything this time around.
mhm.
So yeah, hopefully it can be dealt with and ended soon, and a good deal can come up.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. It's when you think about how long Interactive has been working on an expired contract, it's devastating to think about that.
Ooh.
For it to, I think, almost 2 years.
Oh.
So that's rough. And so I think it's just time. And knowing that these indie games are flipping to union and can agree to a tiered budget with protections and everything like that, there's no excuse for these companies, like at all, in any capacity. So I'm hopeful that this strike will end really soon. But again, it comes down to everybody working in solidarity with each other. Us as actors, we have a certain responsibility to follow. The companies that do care about their talent and want to offer those protections, love them, thank you. And it's just about having these other companies turn a corner, like, guys, help us help you, please.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed this ends soon.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, but for some people who may or may not have taken Jazzy's class before, I took two Jazzy classes and it was amazing. But yeah, in terms of like how would you say, like the cold email approach, you've kind of like found like your own template, your own system now. So how many years did it like sort of take for you to like develop all that?
Whew. I've been a full-time voice actor for about 6 years now.
Nice.
And for the past 5 years of that was really honing the craft of my direct marketing and my cold emailing. Um, I think that direct marketing is the core of this industry
Mm,
if you want to do it full time.
yeah.
My agents are amazing. I love them so much, and they're wonderful and great. I still get most of my work outside of my agents,
Yeah.
just because of that. And it's not. Again, another misconception: agents are not the end all be all, even though they
Yeah.
are amazing. But there's so much work out there, like, and so much work, and it's not all going to go through agents,
Mm,
which is why I think it is super important to diversify yourself
for sure.
in this industry in different genres, and kind of building up the confidence to reach out to complete strangers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like it can be like really daunting in the sense that, if you send this off and they receive it or maybe not receive it, they're like, oh, they hate me so much, not responding.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's I like to equate it to stage fright.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You're
exactly like stage
a
fright.
whole bunch of people you don't know who don't know you exist, and you're just reaching out to them like, "Hey guys,
Yeah,
I'm here. You can hire me. Hi. Hello, I'm not weird, I promise."
yeah. I don't think it's I think it's pretty innocent. It's not like you're sending hate emails or death threats or anything. It's like
Right,
because
right.
you
It's
want to
just
work with that
about
person.
yeah, it's about the approach. I try to really push forward the reminder of you're just reaching out to another human being, yeah,
Yeah,
another person just like you are. So approach them that way.
yeah.
Yes, cold emailing and direct marketing to complete strangers is important, but just as much it's just as important as building genuine connections. And at
Mm,
the end of the day, that's all you need to do
yeah.
is just reach out to people in a genuine human manner and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, because just it's got to have that human touch because like
Hmm.
you can have like the same template and copy and paste over and over again. Sometimes it works, but like I always try to differentiate each time because I like having it be a little different apart from like changing a few words here and there. But I don't know, it works. It really does work sometimes. Um, at least after taking your class, it's definitely worked a lot more. That's for sure. So
That's good to hear. It means it's working. All
hell
right.
yeah, so good. So everybody take Jazzy's class, please. I do it twice. Do it 3 times if you have to.
Oh, no, wait. Oh, now I got to try and add new things in there so you can't take it 3 times.
Ah, damn it. All right. I just realized is that a Broly figure in the background?
It is. I
Yes.
actually got that in Japan.
Oh, nice. That's so cool. Hell
It was
yeah.
cool. My
So,
husband won it out of one of the crane machines.
oh,
Couldn't.
right. It was one of those what should we call this? What's it? Is it gotcha things?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So, look, if you ever travel to Japan, anybody,
Hmm.
have a budget set aside for gotchas
Oh yeah.
because I spent way too much money on those because they were
Yeah.
just so fun and I didn't know what I was going to get and I wanted to collect them all. So,
Yeah, because I hear about the gotcha stuff, like the way, like the lottery system of how people buy things sometimes. I don't know. It's really interesting in the sense that like you have a chance of getting it, but you might not get anything.
yeah,
So
well, and it's the equivalent of like here in America having oh, like the little machines that are like the gumball machines, but
yeah,
it's like little toys and you can like collect them or get the same ones.
it's so cool though.
Um
Yeah.
but they're and it's just they have so many over in
Mm.
like they have whole like corners dedicated or whole shops dedicated to it and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go through and oh my gosh, is this a 90s anime themed one? Let me go ahead and just try and get all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trap, but it's such a worth it trap.
But
So yes, be prepared.
it sounds like the trap is working in that case.
Yeah, yeah. If I ever were to live over there, I think I'd open a gotcha store.
Honestly, you're not. That's a good idea. But if voice acting doesn't work out, then by all means, why not? But I've never been to Japan. I would really like to go. Whereabouts in Japan did you end up going to?
So we went to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka.
Mm,
And we only went for 2 weeks, and I really like I we're planning on going back next year.
nice.
It was a beautiful experience. I loved the non-city part so
Mm.
much more because it's geared more towards tourists in
Oh
Tokyo.
yeah.
It was still fun. Like we found this really cool speakeasy and all these things. It was really cool. But Kyoto was amazing. While we were out there, we didn't realize beforehand that Kobe is actually the
Mm.
city of jazz in Japan.
Ah.
So now next time we go out there, we're really going to dive into like Kobe. Because
Mm.
one of our friends was like, yeah, you should just go there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't we know this before? Like,
Yeah,
so there are a lot of things we didn't get to do that we're definitely
that's gonna
going
be
to dive
good.
into next time.
Hell, you got jazz and jazzy. Let's go.
Yay!
So I'm just gonna say, like, when are we going to like the city of Frizz? When's that?
The City of Frizz, look, that has to be like I don't know. They should do something at like Universal Studios for that. Just a
True.
big
Yeah.
old Miss Frizzle kind of place where you get to learn and science and stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, that would be
I'm gonna open my own
great.
museum.
I-
Let's
Is
do it.
is the Magic School Bus still going? I don't remember. That
They
was like
redid it a few years ago, which was pretty
interesting.
cool. My kids watch it, and so
Oh, that's nice. Hell yeah.
it's pretty good. Nothing like the classics, though.
Oh
What can I
yeah.
say?
Yeah, that's always gonna be there. But like sometimes the new stuff is actually really good. Like there's like a new Fairly Odd Parents out right now. It's really good. So like
I've seen clips, and it looks really good.
it does. It's like the story's good and it looks good. So like that's like why didn't we get this before? Because Fairly Odd Parents has been rebooted like 7 times, you know. So
Come
like
on, guys. I don't know. I'm on a weird like teeter totter when it comes to like remakes and stuff like that, because I feel like there's so much creativity in the industry that, come on, guys, we can come up with our own original ideas, and then at the
yeah.
same time it's like, oh, nostalgia, I love that they're bringing this back, right? Like,
Yeah.
as long as they do it right, it's okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like how they're just like with Disney, especially how just they're going just doing sequels back to back to back. Because before it used to be like original movies, you're not getting a sequel. Nuh-uh.
And that's it. And if you were lucky, this Disney movie is going to turn into a series.
Oh yeah, exactly. But now like now it's like every new thing that comes out, it's either a new thing or sequel, um,
Mm-hmm.
or third movie because we're getting Incredibles 3, so that's gonna be great.
Yep, yep. Or prequel, because
Or
why
prequel.
not?
Oh yeah, wasn't The Lion King 3 a prequel technically?
Oh yes, Mufasa story.
Yeah, what was it like?
So we're
No,
just
I mean
lacking
like,
for
oh no, I
ideas.
mean like Lion King 1.5. That technically was Lion King 3 with like
I
Timon and
do
Pumbaa.
remember that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I
but
forgot that movie existed. Oh.
yeah, but like I did see the new Mufasa one. I feel like it would be really interesting, but I don't know too much about the Lion King lore if people are angry about it or not, but I don't know.
I've I've seen a bit of both, which I like, oh, it's so cool they're doing this, but this story doesn't seem right. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
it would be nice knowing like how Mufasa became like the king. Apart from being the oldest and surviving, but
Obviously, I mean, there's only so much he could do to be king, right?
yeah, because like it's really interesting like how the system in Lion King works because they acknowledge that they eat each other, right? Like the animals. So like how does like that system fall in play? I'm thinking of it as like a real human society in the sense like okay, you're gonna have like these people of different sort of classes and races of animals, but we might eat
Hmm.
the higher classes might eat you and kill you, but
But it's fine because it's the circle of life. So just kind of roll with it, yeah?
yeah, exactly. But if you get eaten and killed, you get to be turned into grass, and then you get to come back or something. I don't know.
Hey, if you see a lion chase after you, just give up. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay. This is part of life. It's all
it's a
right.
circle of life. Yeah, I'm always interested. Like this might be really fucked up, but like I'm morbidly curious on like the darker side of the circle of life.
Right. Okay, see, that's the movie we need.
Yeah.
We need the story of the Lion King from the antelope side of
Oh,
things.
exactly. That would be terrifying.
All right, let's write it. Come on, sign me, give me a check, Disney. Let's go.
Exactly, like because I forget what animal it is because like when Mufasa died, it was it like the wildebeest, like the
I
stampede?
believe so. Yeah.
So like,
Like,
what is like what was it like from like the wildebeest like sort of point of view, right? Because they were
it's
just
like, okay, you
moving.
guys see this lion? All right, which one of us is gonna die today? Okay, all
Yeah,
right, we got this.
exactly. Right. So it's like if you watch the movie from like the wildebeest perspective, was it like their life mission to kill Mufasa and they did it, or was it like they were just literally going about their day and this random lion just happens to fall off and die?
They're just like, oh, okay, well, all right, let's do this. Let's go. The hyenas have recruited us. Let's go, guys. Like,
Like did they not see like the huge lion falling off like the king?
somebody did, and they're like, huh? Would you look at that? All right. Anyway,
My head canon is that the hyena ate all the witnesses. So like, it's like no one knows until like unless it's Scar, But yeah, that's my weird little head canon. I don't know. There's so much. See how this is more interesting than the actual what they're doing right now. So this
see,
is
I'm telling you, there's so much potential out there for original storytelling, and I just think, unfortunately, the greed and the money that
yeah,
drives everything. They're like, hey, we're gonna stop beating this dead horse when it stops spitting out money, and so
yeah.
There's only
Um,
so much you can do.
I mean, yeah, they made one of the Mickey Mouse's public domain a while ago. So,
Hmm.
but I feel like people were waiting for that to happen because as soon as that happened, there was so many things with that public domain Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse that just happened. So like, were they just waiting for this entire
No,
time?
they
Just
were waiting and they were ready.
yeah, but like,
They're like, one day this is going to happen and I'm going to be right there.
you imagine like being like someone who was like closer to like waiting like 100 years for that to happen to finally get it out because I know it was like a horror game made about it. And I imagine like when Winnie the Pooh became public domain, there was like some horror movies. There was like two of them now.
Yep, they sure
Um,
did. They should. There's a time capsule out there that has a whole bunch of content for all these characters that once they get, the licensing is just out there, they're public domain, it's just going to get released. It's just set up to be released.
yeah, I wonder how many more of those are like that because I don't know if every character is like that or is it just like a select few.
I think it's just select. I don't think Disney would make all of their characters public domain like that because, money.
Yeah, because when I heard they were making Mickey Mouse public domain, I was like, really? You're gonna make him public domain? But I realized okay, it's just Steamboat Willie and Mickey Mouse.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Very specific.
yeah, I actually rewatched some of the old Steamboat Willie stuff. It was like, damn, it's kind of violent. It's like Jesus. It's like, wow, all right.
Old Disney was a bit problematic.
Yeah, okay, maybe I understand why it's public domain.
Yeah, they were like, you know what, guys? It's just time we let it go. It's okay.
Yeah, because like you don't want to like you don't want this Mickey Mouse to, like come up to like a random animal and turn them into like a guitar or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, it was something. It really was something. I know like the Steamboat Willie like animation was based off like a movie. I forget what movie it was. It was Steamboat something else, Steamboat Blues or something. I don't know, but like that's where it kind of came from with like the whole design and stuff. So that was pretty nice. But yeah, um, I don't know. Modern Disney is an interesting beast nowadays. Especially now that we have like Disney Plus and all that. And
Hmm.
but yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like we'll get another renaissance of Disney or something or anything really. But
I'm
I keep
hoping again. It's just it's a circle, right? Old things become new, and new things become old, and
yeah.
it's just on a rotation. I'm still waiting for 2D animation to make a comeback. So
Oh, me too. That'd be great. I'm Jesse. Also. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. But yeah, Jesse, I wanted to ask yeah, what's it like being a parent and being a voice actor and all that and all in one? Like how
oh,
like
you
what's
mean
that?
working 50 jobs at one time? No.
Oh yeah, like what's it like being a full-time 50 job worker all at once?
I will say it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think, doing this full time, it really comes down to having a wonderful support system.
Mm,
And that applies to being a parent as well, having a great support system. So my husband is wonderful with the kids. If like, hey, got a session, he'll be like, all right, have fun. We'll distract the children somehow. I think that's what it really comes down to. And I've been lucky enough to have a wonderful wonderful support system in my career and as a parent. But yes, I have three kids, all
oh wow.
girls, 9, 5, and 6 months.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations.
Thank you. So we're making it work. We're making it work. I think that is one of the benefits of being able to do this remotely is that I am able to still prioritize my family in this economy.
Oh, that's a really good thing. So props to you, honestly.
Yeah, like it's hard. It's so I'm very grateful that I can just be like, all right, yeah, I may be like in a session for 4 hours, so you won't see me, but all I have to do is pop upstairs, and you guys are right there, and we can have time together. So
Yeah, and you're gonna take them to Japan next year. You're the best mom ever. Oh my god.
yes, totally going to take them
Oh,
Next year.
okay, I see.
I do have a rule. I will say I don't like that's the same reason why we haven't been to like I haven't taken them to like Disney World or Universal Studios.
Mm,
I feel like when it comes to like big trips like that, I want them to be old enough to actually like experience it and like
that's
enjoy it.
fair. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say,
So
like, you're gonna bring like 6 month old on the plane. That's gonna be crazy.
yeah, and they can't do anything. One of us is going to have to, hang out with the baby while everybody else is going out and having a great time. So
Yeah.
I want them to actually experience it.
No, that's valid.
Um,
That's pretty good. I think the 9-year old's probably the only one who can like remember everything. Because like when I was a kid, I don't remember anything from like past like behind 7. Like I remember nothing. But like
I didn't
beyond
exist.
7, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't exist before then. I have nothing. That's it. After that, like maybe sure, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Apart from like maybe like a few childhood kindergarten memories if you want to go that far, but otherwise no, the majority is like 7 and up, and I remember everything.
Yep. Yep.
But
And
yeah.
it's yeah, so I want to actually invest in things like that if it's worth it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Hell yeah, make sure they get all A's and then you can take them to Disneyland.
I give it like 10 years. I'll take you all. How about that?
10 years? You know what? That's actually really good because like I haven't been to Disneyland or Disney World, and like I hear it's just big. Cause see, like I'm just used to everything being bigger than anything my country produces because we're so tiny. So like
That's fair. That's fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if Disneyland or Disney World is like the size of my country because I hear like it's a long walk a whole around the whole thing. You know?
I've never been to either like Disneyland or Disney World, and I only went to Universal Studios for the first
Mm,
time like a couple of years ago.
nice.
I never went and been, and I am actually very happy that my first experience was as an adult.
True. Yeah. You know what? That's actually much better actually because like
Hmm.
you won't be scared with all the rides. You know, there's no there's no pre uh roller coaster fear or anything like that, which is good.
New appreciation for certain things, I think, as well. Like doing like the famous rides. Everyone's like, I love this ride so much. And as an adult, I can be like, okay, I can see why this is really good and why people like this. So
Yeah.
it's instead of being a kid, we're like, oh, flashing lights and robots and woo, and there's a
Yeah.
big difference.
I went to Hong Kong Disneyland in 2008, so I
Oh
was
my
like
gosh.
6 at the time.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but yeah, I remember that being a lot of fun. I don't know what it looks like nowadays. I think it's still there, so I'll have to go back and visit sometime. But like in Universal Studios, I've only been to the one in Singapore, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful
Oh,
over there.
and Singapore's on my list to visit one day.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like from New Zealand or Australia, Singapore is like a natural place where people stop like all the time. So like
Wow.
the
Okay. A little jealous, but that's okay. That's okay. That's
oh
okay.
like dude, the airport is like it's like a taste of like what's to come. Like the airport is amazing. Like, like
Okay. Yeah.
it's
Don't do
big.
this. Don't do this. We're going to Japan first. Going to
Okay.
Japan first. Then we're going to.
Okay. Go to Japan then
Wait. Don't
Singapore.
don't distract me.
If you're gonna go to Singapore, just go to the airport. I think you'll get everything and then just go to Japan
And
afterwards.
then just hop on over. Okay. Got you. Got you. I can do this.
It's like
That I can manage. I can manage
you
that.
know how it's like you buy a movie ticket and then you get into the movie theater and it's like, okay, no one's looking, you can just go see another movie.
Another movie. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like
That's.
that. Although you might need to like, change your passport and stuff, but I think it'll work.
It's fine. Yeah. We'll work it. We'll figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's problem.
But for today, I'm in Singapore.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, are there any like you mentioned Singapore, but are there any other dream like sort of countries that you'd like to visit at some point?
So I'm actually an army brat. So as a kid, like we lived like overseas and everything. We've lived in like Italy,
Oh wow.
the UK, stuff like that. But I was a kid. And
Hmm.
again, going back to like I don't really remember much. I remember really enjoying gelato in Italy, but that's really all I got, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of just want to like revisit those places as an adult. I feel like I'm just going through a phase in my life because I currently have like a movie and TV show list
Hmm.
of things that I've seen as a kid that I would like to rewatch as an adult.
Oh yeah.
And been a wonderful experience. So I think just revisiting all those places that I can actually enjoy now, um, is probably what I would go for. So Italy was really cool. I would
Mm,
love to go back and visit there. I would love to go to the UK,
mm,
you know, just to see. Um, and then yeah, I love traveling, so I'm down for any and all things.
hell yeah. Well, when did I go? I went to the UK like over 10 years ago now, like 13 years ago. Uh,
Nice.
I don't remember a whole lot, but it was a lot of fun. I remember having fun there because I think I went on like the London Eye, like the Ferris wheel. Um, but like apart from that and seeing the Big Ben and Legoland, I don't remember like much. But yeah, I do want to go back. One of my goals next year is to go travel to the UK or the US because I haven't been to the US yet because I was always terrified that the US was like Gotham and like Batman and my parents would get shot up in the alleyway. So like
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. But no,
I mean it's not completely far off, right? But like
right?
it just depends where you go, right?
We
I
got
would
the
assume.
idea of Gotham from somewhere. You
Yeah.
know?
But like I think I'll be okay though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all doom and gloom, but I'm just gonna go after the election for reasons. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, there are some really good places here. Again, I do enjoy traveling in general. Of course, you got to hit the touristy spots. Love
Mm,
Vegas.
mm,
So I love going out there. Um, Even New York. Like I'll be in New York
mm.
next weekend.
Oh, nice.
Um, and so yeah, just like doing stuff like that. I remember my husband had like never really traveled before, and so when we got together and we just started going all over the place, like, oh,
Yeah.
I've never been here before. We're gonna have a good time. So it's been a really cool experience, and
Hell
I
yeah.
enjoy it so much
I'm very curious to find out why everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'm very curious in a weird way.
because there's a lot that can happen in Vegas.
Yeah. See, everyone says that, but like what exactly can happen in Vegas apart from gambling your money away, but yeah.
Gambling is fun. Now, I will say this. I love gambling. I
Okay.
love gambling. I
Okay, as
don't
long
have
as
a problem.
okay, good. As long
I
as you're safe.
Yeah, I was like, I still my bills are paid and I still have a house, right? We still have a roof over our heads. You know, it's only a problem if we don't have that anymore, right?
Yeah.
But no, I do. It's fun for me. I don't know why, the little adrenaline rush. So I do actually enjoy Vegas for that part of it as well. But they have really fun shows.
Mm.
Like that. We saw Jabberwockies out there
Mm.
before. Like it was so cool. I love magic too, like David Copperfield and stuff like that.
Oh, is
So
he
they
just
have really
is
good
he
like
always just there? Is David Copperfield just always in Vegas?
pretty much, yeah. You can
What?
usually catch a show anytime you're out there, which is
Interesting.
amazing and I love it. But it's just entertaining. And the fact that Vegas is one of those like places where I'm not a drinker anymore. Age. But but where you could just walk around with a whole cup of a cocktail
Mm.
and just walk around and enjoy yourself. It's pretty fun. I will say that. And I mean just the attractions, roller coaster going through a hotel and
Oh,
all of
that's
these other
cool.
things. It's a lot. It's fun. It's fun. But it's also one of those places, I think, if you spend like more than 3 days in Vegas, it's just exhausting and you're sick
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
fair. I reckon like one
Like
or two
Vegas
nights.
is like spurts. Like you go in spurts for
Yeah,
short
I think that sounds
periods of
about
time.
right. I feel like one or two nights should be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that's
that's the
perfect.
sweet spot. It's like a 2 night, 3 day stay,
Yeah,
and that's
I
all
feel
you
it.
need.
I feel like that sounds about right. But yeah, I'd be really interested to meet David Copperfield. I haven't met a whole lot of celebrities. My weirdest celebrity interaction was a couple of years ago. I was going. This is when I was in my nightclub sort of era, so I was going to the clubs a lot. And in my hometown, like Sean Kingston was there. Like
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know why he was there,
Just
but
hanging out,
he was just there. He was DJing for like a few of his songs. And then he just left. Apparently he just comes
and
here
that
a
was
lot.
it.
Yeah. I got to ask him a question that was my favorite thing because I got to ask him about Eeny Meeny, like the song he did with Justin Bieber. Because in the first thing he says in that song is she's indecisive, she can't decide. But then I was like, dude, that's what indecisive means. Indecisive means you can't decide. And he was like, huh. I didn't
Can
write
we
the.
talk
I didn't.
about this?
It's like hey man, I didn't write the song. All right. It's like, all right,
I
fair
was
enough.
just singing it. I was just singing it. Okay.
Nah, but he was a really nice guy. But he didn't stay for too long. But like, I think it's one of my favorite interactions with
That
celebrities.
is
I
hilarious. I have a knack of not knowing who people are. Um, like celebrity wise, and I used to work at a TJ Fridays back in the day,
oh,
and we were close.
what's TJ Fridays?
So it's a restaurant, of course, stands for Thank God It's Friday, right?
Oh yeah.
It's just like a restaurant. It's kind of like a Applebee's or Chili's, like if you know
Okay.
about those kind of things. But back in the day, I was like early 20s and I was working there, and it was close to the airport.
Mm.
So whenever like people would come in, we had like a comedy club down the street and things like that. So whenever people were like flying in, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's that famous comedian," or "Here's this famous person," and blah blah. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know who they are, and I would just get pictures with them, and then my husband would be like, "Do you don't know who this is?" Like, no, I just took a picture with them because they're famous, and I don't know who they are. So
And that's something my family does a lot because I remember because my granddad actually met Michael Jackson, but my
ah,
he got a picture with him, and then but then he was like, I don't know who this person is, and then my mom was like, Dad, that's Michael Jackson. It's like,
what is this? I have pictures. I don't watch football, but my husband does, and I remember like taking people were taking pictures with them. I took pictures with them, and he was like, "You don't know who these people are," and I was like, "No, but I figured you did." Because people said they play football and they are like these really famous like football players. I'm like, and he's like, I don't understand how this happens, and I'm like, I don't either, but it's great.
like how does that work with like the taking the pictures? Like, hey, I have no idea who you are, but someone I know might like you, so let's
Yeah,
take a
like,
picture.
hey, can I just grab this? Why not? Hey.
Yeah,
And it
I'm
works. Like,
fair enough. Um, but yeah, back to gambling a little bit. I haven't. It's a what a weird segue. I can't say I'm a gambler myself, but I went to the casino one time. And I was like, I went for the first time this year. Um, it was an interesting experience. I actually made a profit, which I wasn't expecting to do. Uh,
woo!
I think I was like, I didn't want to spend too much money because like, okay, let's do like I don't know, like $30. Um, made 90, so like I'm happy, made a profit.
Hey.
I'll win. I'll take what I can. But yeah, when was that? That was like that's like at the start of the year. It was like someone's like birthday party. It was like, hey, let's go to the casino. I'm like, huh, all right. But turns
Man,
out
I love it.
the
I
casino
love
is
when I
like
go to the casino.
it's a lot of people. My friends and I forget what this one game is. But like it's like when you like bet on red or bet on black, and it's
Oh,
like
roulette.
yeah, roulette. And there's like this weird sort of like he had like this weird theory of like of like how to win. I don't know. It's like it's not really consistent because it is just luck. But for somehow I got really lucky and I
That's
was
all it is.
yeah.
It's so funny. My husband enjoys gambling as well. But he's a very like one of those logistical, like, let's break down the facts. Well, actually, kind of people, right?
Yeah.
So he bought a book talking about gambling,
Oh.
and it says for roulette that you get in and you get out. Roulette's one of those games, like if you win, you get out as soon as you can, because it really
Mm,
is just luck. Versus like playing blackjack where there's a probability, there's a set of rules that
mm,
it doesn't guarantee you'll win, but it increases your chances.
yeah.
Or like, hey, this is the probability this will happen, so this is what you should do. And so yeah, so roulette is a get in, win a little bit of money if you can, and then get out
Oh
because
yeah.
you lose it all so fast.
Yeah. It's really because I play gotcha games like on mobile phones. Not like a whole lot of them. But like I have like two Dragon Ball gotcha games that I play, and also a One Piece one. But it's really interesting because the way because I played these games for like nearly 10 years, and it's getting to that point where it's like they're almost 10 years old now, which is really scary. But yeah, it's really weird because like in the sense that whatever happens in the game also affects real life. It's not just a coincidence anymore. So for example, if there's like a banner with a new character that you want to summon for with the in-game currency, if I get that character, something bad's gonna happen to me in real life. And and if I
No.
don't get that character, something good's gonna happen to me in real life. So like it's not a coincidence anymore. This has happened for like nearly 10 years, So like it's so
You have to
weird.
decide where it shows you where your luck's going today.
Exactly. So like when I pull the banners, like sometimes I'll be like, okay, let's summon for the lulls, and I pull it. It was like, oh shit, all right.
All right, let me prepare for real life now. Okay.
All right, let me just check everything. Let me check my medical records.
Make sure everything's safe and okay.
Yeah, like let me check any earthquakes coming up.
Oh no.
We don't get a whole lot actually around here, but like I think down south, that's where most of them happen. If you live in Christchurch, especially, like that's earthquake central over there. They just keep they have the worst. They keep rebuilding all the time. I think they're still rebuilding a little bit. It's
Oh
bad.
my gosh.
There's like
We were just talking about how nature is terrifying. And it's just one of
mm,
those things you don't think about, right? Until
yeah,
all of a sudden you hear news of like a tornado or an earthquake and all these natural disasters and you're like, there's literally nothing you can do to stop
yeah,
it. there's
exactly.
you have no you are powerless here. Like
Mm.
it's terrifying.
I'm really happy in the way we can kind of predict when it's coming, but in terms of like stopping it altogether, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah,
But I feel
it's
like we will at
over.
some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's over.
because I ended up last year there was like a twister that came around, and so but we got told about it like maybe like a week in advance, which was really good. So we got to
Oh my
prepare,
god.
and it was like no power for like a few days, maybe a whole week. So I was like, okay, time to get buy some apocalypse food. Um, you know,
That
um,
is crazy.
but yeah, I was mostly scared about my neighbors because like they had like, but when I was living in the flat at the time, they had like three big like palm trees, and they were really loose. I was able to like hear them like every night. So like I was kind of scared that they would just one of them would just fall off and snap either onto the neighbor's house or into my house. So like it
Oh
would,
my gosh.
but yeah, it was something, but it was actually kind of fun in a weird way because there was well, I was mowing the lawn like a few days before, and I was like, when you mow the lawn, there's like leftover, stuff around.
Right, right.
But thankfully, the only good thing the Twister did was spread all that stuff around, so I didn't have to pick everything up, and it was great. It was like that was the only good thing from this
Like, oh, you're
fucking
actually
Twister.
helping. Thank you.
Yeah, like this is a natural solution, not a natural disaster now.
Thanks for helping me out. Thank you. Now if you could just go away.
Yeah, I think I think I was sufficiently stocked on my apocalypse food. Like, still had a decent amount left. It was mainly just beans, to be honest. But yeah, like, well, you can't go wrong with beans. But yeah, it was fun. Like, because I was a uni student at the time, so like, I'm not gonna get like 5-star meals as my apocalypse food or anything, you know. But
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, it's coming. No. They
Nah, but
called
like
me crazy. No.
they called me crazy with the tinfoil hat and everything. But yeah, Jesse, I have one last question for you, and
Yeah.
the question is, yeah, what keeps you going in this industry?
Very good question. The joy of it. I think that's a really important thing is to enjoy what you do. Um, who doesn't love a paycheck, right? Like I love
Yeah,
it's a benefit that I get to make a living and pay bills and take care of my family doing something I love. And I think that's what it really comes down to. There is always like a risk of getting that burnout and that like
mm,
exhaustion because like any other service industry, I consider voiceover or entertainment a service industry because you have an audience or you have a client that you're working with, so it is about giving like customer service, right, and things
yeah,
like that. There is always a threat of burnout because you may have a bad client or a string of like, oh my gosh, obstacles that happens on every job or whatever it is. There's always that risk, but I think just knowing that there is another side to it helps me tremendously. Even if I don't like the sound of my own voice anymore. Like I don't indulge in any
What? Why would you
content.
say that?
I don't indulge in any content that I voice. Like I do not. I do I
Interesting.
don't listen. And so if I come across like one of the commercials I've done in the wild, I'm just like, oh no, 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 I don't want to hear it. But hearing like my family and my kids that are like, Mom, that's you, and I'm like, yes, I know, but
Aw.
they're still happy to hear it and know that that's what I'm doing. It definitely helps.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that your kids also know about it as well, which is great. Because like, because do you ever like go to like those whatchamacallit, like bring your parents to school day,
Oh
or
yeah, yeah, like show and tell, or talk
yeah,
of career day kind of thing.
yeah, like have you ever had like those experiences like what do you do? Is like, well, what don't I
Yes,
do? It's like,
yes, yes. Like my mommy's a voice actor. What's that? It's like she does like commercials and cartoons and stuff, and I'm just like,
hell yeah, I
yep.
do.
We don't need to tell anybody though, guys.
Yeah, don't break the don't break my NDAs out here.
Right, right. Hey guys, shh. But
um,
I do, I really do. I'm lucky enough to enjoy what I do, and so I hope that the day doesn't come where I take it for granted.
mm,
But I'm very, very lucky
hell
at
yeah.
this point in my career. So
Yeah, 6 years full time. Like it's kind of be hard to take it for granted at that point. But yeah,
yes, it especially, and it I think just as there's a threat of getting burnt out. There's also like the risk of getting like a little, I don't know, cocky or like
a little bit. Yeah,
big
that's fair.
headed, because this is such a gig by gig
Mm.
industry and kind of business that you're not guaranteed anything.
Oh yeah.
And so if you get on a roll where you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm booking like 1 or 2 gigs a week, this is amazing, this is amazing, you can get really big headed,
Oh yeah.
like, yeah, I'm doing everything right. And then I think those highs is what makes the lows a little harder.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, you can be grateful, but also like taking those wins, for lack of a better term, with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
I think is super super important. And just being like, you know what, I am grateful. I am great. I booked a gig every week for the past month. I'm very grateful for that because I could not book anything for the next 3 months.
Yeah. But
I
like,
think the
yeah,
balance.
I feel like it's balanced because like even if you is like a say something you say you booked something like 3 years ago and it hasn't come out yet, and it's like you're trying to do your best to book nowadays and you're just not getting anything, which happens, you're gonna get like dry spells and you will get like not dry spells, uh, you know,
No,
um,
I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah, the dry spells.
yeah. But like in a weird way, even if you're not booking, if you booked like that one thing as soon as it come out, it's like okay, there's still one thing in the background that I
And
can't
I
talk
know
about.
it's out there. I know I did it.
Yeah.
I think it's also a mentality shift as well. There's a difference in having a 9 to 5 where you
Mm,
know what you're doing, right? You have hours that you clock in and clock out for. You have a set of duties that you're used to doing and that you can find time to do or whatever in that time frame. Voiceover, or being an actor, is so all over the
oh
place
yeah.
that when you are having those dry spells, like, yes, you can still be auditioning, but if you're not booking anything, it's about switching your mentality of, well, voice acting isn't just voice acting. There are other
Mm,
things that I could do to fill my time. I could take workshops, I could,
yeah.
take classes, I can go send emails or direct market or, revamp my website, right? I
Mm,
think
yeah.
it's also just thinking about not just like, oh, I'm a voice actor, so the only thing I do is voice act. I think
Yeah.
taking that shift of, no, I got to do other things as well.
Yeah.
Voice acting is just kind of like a benefit of being in this
Oh yeah,
industry.
for sure. It's easier said than done because like as someone who had made voice acting like their sole purpose in life for like years, taking like a break and a step back and like looking back at myself, it took a while, to like find that comfort. So like but like I will say like as someone who's gone through that, having hobbies and stuff outside of voice acting is
Mhm.
great because like it's like everything's like a little bonus because you can still do a lot of things. And you still feel that like sort of fulfillment, because if you make one thing your life and it's not serving you, or you feel like it's not serving you, then like that's horrible. That's a horrible feeling because you're like you've wanted this for like ages. So like don't burn yourself out on like something because like especially as unpredictable as voiceover is because it's like because the way I see it, it's a really one-sided relationship where you're gonna keep going, and sometimes it'll take you, and sometimes it'll friend zone you. But like, yeah, you never know. One day you'll get like that really good date, and then and then the next day you might get friend zone. It
Yep.
doesn't, it doesn't,
Nothing guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed.
nothing
So
guaranteed.
it's really important to make sure you build up your mentality for that
Yeah.
kind of industry, because the one thing that you'll hear the most in this industry is silence.
Mm,
It
yeah.
won't even be a no or a rejection. It will be silence. And so you really have to build up your mental fortitude to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And then understanding that you should only be concerned about the things you have control over,
Yeah.
which is you recording, you having and developing the skills to like break down a script and record and send in an audition. But after you hit send and that audition is out of your hands, there is literally nothing you can do. And
Mm,
the power is no longer in your hands. And I
yeah.
think it's really hard to let go of that.
Yeah, and the silence can also be unpredictable as well, in the sense that it could be like they'll wait like a couple months, and you're like, "Hey, you got cast," or maybe it's like so much time passes, like, "Oh, I forgot I even auditioned for this."
Send and forget, baby. It's a
Yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah. Set and forget. Like honestly, it helps so much because like my memory just keeps getting worse, but it's great because it means I can be
It's a
happy.
beautiful thing. Yeah, when it's like, hey, you booked this. I'm like, what?
Oh, I did do that. Wow. Okay.
Oh, let me go check my. Oh, gotcha. Okay, let me listen to what I did so I know what I'm doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle, but it's an important one to obtain.
Hell yeah. And on that note, this interview comes to a close. Jazzy, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you
Thank
and your time.
you. Thank you for having me. This was great. A pleasure. You are
Hell.
wonderful.
Oh, thank
Love you
you.
for doing this. Thank you. Thank you. I love these kind of conversations and podcasts and everything like that.
No,
So it's always good to hear.
no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jazzy.
Thank you.
But yeah, Jazzy, who would you like to see next in the OverVoice hot seat? I'm gonna put you in the hot seat for a moment here.
No. Oh no. Wait. Ooh, that's a really difficult question. I can't even say because you just did them, but did a interview with them recently. I think it was the last episode. Marcus.
Oh yeah, I did do one with Marcus.
Yes, I love Marcus Rothenberg.
Yeah.
They are amazing. I'm also like being an advocate. I love people who advocate loudly.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
And Marcus will definitely do that. They are amazing. It's hard out here as an advocate because of all the backlash that you get.
Mm,
And it just comes with the job. And so I feel strongly connected with other people
hell
who
yeah.
do advocate. So I would say Marcus or JP Carlack,
Mm,
from who created Queervox. They are
mm,
amazing as well.
hell yeah.
And anybody on the admin team from the Disabled Voice Actors database,
All right.
amazing. Like, yes, so many people. Ed Nava,
Oh yeah.
Matthew DeReason, like he's amazing. Definitely would reach out to him as well. But
Hell
yes,
yeah.
those I would probably say them right now.
Hell yeah, sounds great. It's really interesting how like how many of you guys know each other because I was talking to like literally 2 days ago. I was talking to Emery Chase, and then they know you
I
as
love Emery.
like they know you as well. So like, oh, guess what? Guess who I'm interviewing in 2 days. It's like,
I
hell yeah,
love them so much. Yes, I'm there are some real gems in this industry and I am thankful for them because this voice acting is a strong community. We are
mm,
very strongly community based And just knowing that you have members of that community that are so like forthright, that are so like awesome and supportive, it helps the days go by a little easier as well, even
Hell
when you
yeah.
are in a position of receiving a lot of backlash.
Oh yeah.
So um I adore all of them, and
Hell
yes,
yeah.
I send my love to all of them.
Hell yeah. And Jesse, where can people find you on social media and stuff?
Well, when I am actually on social media, you can find me at Jazzy Frizzle VO on pretty much everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and jazzyfrizzlevo.com for my website. And
Hell
that's
yeah.
that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you again for coming on. You've been absolutely lovely.
Thank you, you
And
too.
oh, and yeah, well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys for the next interview. Bye, everybody.